Hey guys, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to dive into the truly fascinating grammatical physics of Arabic. We are exploring the transformative powers of kaana and her sisters. Now, if you've spent any time at all studying the Arabic language, you've definitely heard this term. These verbs, they're absolute game changers. They are literally the grammatical transformers that enter a sentence and completely alter its structure. Honestly, mastering this is one of the absolute biggest steps any guy studying the language can take toward unlocking advanced Arabic.
So before we jump right in, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at the original nominal sentence, enter kaana and sisters, meet the abrogating verbs, types of kaana predicates, kaana versus inna, and finally, complete versus defective kaana.
All right, Section 1, the original nominal sentence.
Okay, let's dive into this first part. To understand how these transforming verbs disrupt a sentence, we first have to establish the peaceful, everyday baseline of normal Arabic syntax. By definition, a nominal sentence gives us two perfectly balanced pillars. Think of a man building a solid foundation for a house, right? He needs two equal, load-bearing pillars to hold the roof up safely. Well, in Arabic, those pillars are the subject, which we call the mubtada, that's the thing or person we're talking about, and the predicate, the khabar, which gives us the actual news or information about that subject.
Take a look at this baseline example. Al-jawu jamil. The weather is beautiful. In standard Arabic grammar, both of these words sit naturally in the nominative case, which we call marfu'. They are perfectly balanced in weight, typically ending with that u or un sound. The subject is elevated and the predicate is elevated. Everything is totally stable.
Moving on to Section 2, enter kaana and sisters.
Now, here's where it gets wild. What happens when we introduce a grammatical transformer into that perfectly balanced sentence we just built? Think of it like a mathematical formula where the abrogating verb completely hijacks the sentence. When kaana enters, she just takes over. The subject status? Kept high. It remains nominative. But the predicate? Kaana forces it down. It gets dropped into the accusative case, known as mansub. It's a complete shift in the grammatical physics of the sentence.
You can actually see and hear the transformation in action right here. Kana al-jawu jamilan. The weather was beautiful. The word jamilun becomes jamilan simply because kana walked into the room. The vowel ending shifts from an un to an an. It's just a small auditory shift, but mathematically it changes the whole shebang.
Section 3, meet the abrogating verbs.
So, here are the most common sisters, and while they all shift the grammar the exact same way, dropping that predicate into the accusative, each one injects a completely different meaning into your sentence. Kaana gives us time in the past. Asbaha means something became a certain way in the morning, like saying the working men became active. Sara is pure transformation, like water turning to ice. Lesa gives us absolute negation, and amsa brings us into the evening, like a guard spending the night at his post. They are a highly specific set of tools for any speaker.
But wait, there are a few sisters that actually have special rules to do their job. Look at these guys right here. Verbs like mazala, which means continues to, specifically need a negation particle to function. You can't just say zala, you literally have to say mazala. It's the exact same for its cousins ma barecha and ma enfaka. And ma dama, meaning as long as, requires the word ma to show the duration of an action.
Section 4, types of kaana predicates.
Okay, we know the predicate gets forced into the accusative case, but what exactly does a predicate look like? Well, the crucial point here is that the predicate, the part getting turned accusative, doesn't always have to be just a simple single word. Although, yeah, often it is. In this beautiful Quranic example, wa kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman, we see single word predicates, ghafuran and rahiman. And what's super amazing here is it even proves that kaana can actually govern multiple predicates at once. Both of those words are forced into the accusative state by the single verb kaana. But it definitely gets deeper. Here in this famous hadith, a piece of profound advice directed at believers navigating life, we see kaana used in the imperative command form for men, kun, meaning be. And the predicate isn't just a single word with an at the end. The predicate is actually an entire prepositional phrase, fi ad-dunya, in this world. The grammatical rule still applies, absolutely, but the accusative state is applied to the position of the entire phrase.
So, to summarize, the accusative predicate you're looking for can manifest in three ways. First, as a single word. Second, as an entire nested sentence, like the child was playing. And third, as a positional phrase, like the guard was in front of the door.
If you can identify these three forms, you will never, ever get lost reading a classical text.
Section 5, kaana versus inna. We are making great time. And if you want to truly master Arabic grammar, you have to meet kaana's arch rivals, inna and her sisters. What's really fascinating is the direct comparison between these arch rivals. Kaana, as we've learned, raises the subject up and drops the predicate down into the accusative. But inna does the exact mirror image opposite. Inna drops the subject down into the accusative and raises the predicate up. They are perfectly opposed grammatical forces.
Look closely at the physical endings of these words. Let's take the example of a hardworking male student. With kaana, it's kaana at-talabu mujtahidan. The student is nominative with an u, hardworking is accusative with an an. But with inna, it completely flips. Inna at-talaba mujtahidun. The student becomes accusative with an a, and hardworking becomes nominative with an un. This contrast right here is where countless students make mistakes, guys. But visualizing it like this makes it instantly clear.
And finally, Section 6, complete versus defective kaana.
Let's finish up with a really cool advanced nuance. This is the stuff that will elevate you from just a beginner to a true Arabic linguistics enthusiast. Up until now, we've called kaana a defective verb. We call it defective because it desperately needs a predicate to finish its thought. I mean, if I just say to you, the man was, you're sitting there waiting for me to finish the sentence. The man was what? But is that always true? Does it always need a predicate?
Surprisingly, no. There's actually a version of this verb called complete kaana, or kaana al-tamma, and it brilliantly illustrates just how flexible Arabic really is. Complete kaana functions just like a normal everyday verb, meaning it existed, it happened, or it occurred. And because it holds that complete meaning all on its own, it requires absolutely no predicate at all, just a subject. This verse perfectly captures complete kaana in action. Look at the text, وَإِن كَانَ ذُو أُسْرَةٍ. If there is a man in hardship. The word kaana here doesn't mean he was leading to a predicate. It simply means exists. So the sentence is grammatically complete with just the subject, the man in hardship. No accusative predicate required. It's a really beautiful, elegant exception to the rule.
And that brings us to the end of our roadmap. Now that you understand the hidden physics of these abrogating verbs, how they enter a sentence, drop the predicate, shift time and meaning, and even battle against their rivals like inna, what new layers of meaning are you going to discover the next time you read Arabic? Whether you're a student, a scholar, or just a guy trying to decipher classical texts, keep an eye out for kaana and her sisters. They are literally everywhere, and now you know exactly how they work. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.